This is February 13, 2015. And I have a few points to address. The first one is the Peter Hug comment that 25% of Goldbugs are crazy. And a lot of people took that in a negative manner, thinking that Peter Hug is like bashing the Goldbugs. Well, let me put into perspective. If he's saying 25% of Goldbugs are crazy, he's saying also that 75% of Goldbugs are not crazy. Now, let us look at the general population. I think that the general population is more than 25% crazy, right? I mean, what definition of crazy do you want to use? You go into Walmart, you know those pictures of Walmart shoppers, right? And you see these people, that's crazy, right? You go into Walmart, those pictures, that's crazy, right? The store is full of like crazy people in many aspects, right? So only 25% crazy Goldbugs, that's better than average, I think. I think that Peter Hug is giving the Goldbugs a compliment. Okay, and yeah, I met Peter Hug in person. Me and a few other people who watch my channel had a conversation with him. Our several conversations. We talked about markets. We talked about platinum, palladium. We talked about gold. We talked about the stock market. Right? He's a pretty smart, knowledgeable guy. He's a professional. He makes a living doing this, and he goes to real industry conferences and he talks to like real investors, right? And he's out there in the real world. He's out there, right? He's not afraid to talk the talk, right? He goes out there, right? Whereas you notice there are a lot of like opinion leaders who will not go out there. They will stay hidden on YouTube and not go out there to a conference. Even a lot of the popular people who you see their name and face, they will not go to a broad industry conference, and they will not be there. They will not have a booth. They will not talk to the general investing public. They have their little niche, and that's it. And they appeal to their little niche, and they will talk to other people in the niche, but they're not going to go out there at one of these like big conferences and talk to the whole industry and face the whole industry. So that's my editorial comment on that. See, the Peter Hug comment, he's like saying, man, 75% of Goldbugs are sane. That's pretty good. Because look at the general population. The general population is more than 25% crazy. See, that's one of my original thoughts, because I consider myself an original thinker. Where else can you hear opinions like that except right here? All right, okay. So the next one, it's the backyard professor phenomenon. Okay, so I'm a serious, hardcore chess player. I mean, here are some of my books, my recent books. Here are some of my more recent books. This is my current reading list right here, right? Ugh. I'm serious. Okay, and yeah, I met Da Vinci a couple times. We hung out, and I played him in chess. And what I'm going to tell you is in no way a criticism of Da Vinci, because he was brave enough to play me in chess. So I played with 1 minute on my clock, 60 seconds, and I gave him all the time he wanted, and I won every game. That is because I have the patterns. I have a lot of these patterns down engraved so well, I can go on autopilot and just make moves against someone who doesn't have a lot of these patterns down. So if it was 60 seconds on the clock, I won actually basically against anybody who's not like a serious player. I need 60 seconds to play the whole game to win just about every case. Okay, so going back to the Backyard Professor. On YouTube, there's a guy called the Backyard Professor who does chess videos. And he read a book from Jeremy Silman, who's an international master. And he read this book and then immediately thought that he had great insights and knowledge of chess. So he went over one of his games where he was like saying about, oh, my opponent is clueless. Look how great I am because I use these Silman techniques. But his chess playing was real. I mean, okay, so he's probably a nice guy. He's probably good at beating his family and friends. But from an objective perspective, his chess was horrible. I mean, it was painful to watch him play, and his analysis was even worse. But he's on there with a lot of views, and he's on there thinking that he's great at chess, when it's the reverse. And the second point is his video gets more views than some grandmaster videos. There are some grandmasters on YouTube who are dropping some real chess knowledge on your head. And those grandmasters will get less views than the Backyard Professor, who's like an amateur player, which nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with being an amateur. It's just that when he does his video, he talks like he thinks he understands chess. And he's actually comic relief for a lot of tournament players who watch his videos. They think it's comic relief. And of course, no insult to him. He's probably a nice guy in person or whatever. But it's just that it's so ridiculous. I mean, it's over the top ridiculous. I mean, it's beyond ridiculous that his analysis is so bad, and he thinks he knows what he's talking about because he read one book and he can misapply the concepts, and then he gets more views than grandmasters on top of it. That's the Backyard Professor phenomenon, and we're seeing it all over the internet. It's a fact of life right now. Okay, so I had another point, which I'll have to... Oh, Julie Borowski. Is that her same name? Julie Borowski. She libertarian girl. She had her best video ever where she talks about dating, right? She puts you in the mind of a female, and she tells you what women are thinking. And it's funny, and it's her best video, I think. I mean, she's giving advice, and I think she knows her audience really well. And I would highly recommend this video if you haven't seen it yet. So those are my points. Thanks for watching, and be well.